Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 8 Premium Japanese Cruiser, Atago. She has 40,100 health, a top speed of 35.5 knots, 10 203mm guns, 16 torpedoes, a surface detect of 9.1 kilometer, and 38 AA defense rating. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main armament, improved main battery turret traverse, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift, concealment. For my commander, basic firing training, basic survivability, expert marksman, superintendent, demolition expert, and concealment again. We are on the map Tears of the Desert, and it's been a while since I've played in this particular ship. The Atago is a very effective ship for launching torpedoes, high damage output for HE and AP. It's a Tier 8, it has heal. What's not to love? There's not a lot to dislike. Yes, the turrets, they traverse pretty slow. Yes, it's pretty easy to citadel. Yes, the AA protection is garbage. But outside of that, those are critical issues that must be addressed whenever you are playing the ship. You can't show your side too much. You need to be careful. You need to drop your torpedoes quickly, not so quickly. And I noticed that the friendly was dropping his smoke, and I just couldn't take advantage of it. I didn't know he was going to do it. So I continued forward as if it didn't exist. We get 6,500 on the enemy Arpeggio Takao. The Takao is the Atago, basically. Only blue and Arpeggio, and it has some lady talking instead of some Japanese sailor. Now, these two cruisers are being rather bold. They are in the same division. So I'm going to make it my goal to citadel them because they're showing too much broadside. They just are. They're just showing too much. Someone on my team, one of the battleships, one of me, we're going to be able to exploit it. Unfortunately, I can't. These salvos. They're either too low, or they're too high, or they hit the turrets, or they hit nothing. Just punish this, please. And of course, the torpedoes didn't hit anything. But he's showing a perfect broadside. We fire at the waterline. We give what I assume the right lead is. We only do 2,400. At least you hit the target, Notser. Well, someone hit the target because he was, well, a lot's just happened, okay? The friendly Kiev, or the Kiev as the Russians would probably, Kiev as the Russians would say, it got destroyed by torpedoes. It died because it sat in smoke too long. The friendly Donskoy is also in the area in smoke. He is rather large. We don't really get a lot of damage on that guy. Friendlies are going to take him out. A friendly battleship, yes, a battleship took out the cruiser, and a battleship should take out the other cruiser. I know, you're reloaded. Why aren't you firing? Because he's at 9 health. It's not my kill. And the Donskoy secondaries, of all the ships there, the Donskoy is the one that gets the kill. Figure that one out. So there's an Iowa and a North Carolina still in the area. That North Carolina was teamed up with those cruisers. The cruisers were just a teeny bit bold, just a touch. Maybe should have just relaxed, engaged the targets on their own terms. You know, normal gameplay. But they didn't, and they paid for it. And a normal Japanese gameplay would be to try and use your concealment to get into a position to exploit the fact that either it's a cruiser, a destroyer, or a battleship as your primary target. Since it is a North Carolina, we are going to be firing HEN, looking for those fires, and the fire chance is, it's honestly to die for. It is the best in the game. Something like 18, 22%, depending on the ship, depending on the build. It is extremely high. Every single salvo should net you with at least one fire. We did do one fire. I know we did one fire, but I don't see it on the North Carolina. So I assume that the North Carolina is an aggressive one fire guy. So he's going to be immune to this salvo, but he's not going to be immune to the next salvo if I were lucky enough to hit the target. My guns are still traversing. That is one of the big issues. If you get in a position where you see a Japanese, you need to try and get him to rotate his guns. Maybe fight him on different flanks. He's going to have a tough time. He really is. Having to traverse, it's probably one of the slowest in the game. I mean, it really is. It really is. It is noticeably bad. But you get a heal. You get forward-launching torpedoes on left and right side, and your HE's great. So whenever you're looking at a target, you're going to be doing damage. And this guy is burning. He is burning. He's going to take a torpedo, hopefully. We lose the friendly Donskoy. Probably should have pulled back, knowing that he has 2 enemy battleships in the area. The enemy North Carolina is dead, and the Iowa is in full retreat. As he probably should be. His concealment is not quite as good as he would like. I don't think he's going to get out of this. But the game's still pretty close. Where is the enemy, Notser? They're over by Sea Point. They're going to destroy any of my team that gets a little bit broken out. Stragglers. Looks like we have a friendly battleship, maybe a destroyer. They're just a little too far forward, right? Just a wee bit. I'm in the process of just looking to try and get a fire on the guy. And there is one added benefit of the Japanese and their low rate of fire for a cruiser comparably to others. It's not terrible. 15 is low. It does a lot of damage per shot, but 15's very low. You have an opportunity to drop off of detection. If you so choose. Maybe wait 5 more seconds and you can just drop off. It doesn't require a lot of effort, a lot of thought. Just thought you should know. So the Iowa, we set the Iowa on fire, which is the goal. Most Japanese cruisers' goal is to set the target on fire. If you're the Zhao, you get 4 fires every salvo, of course. You're just falling over yourself with the amount of fires. And it seems that he only has 1. Now, I don't know if he's already been set on fire, but the fire is sticking. And this should give us pretty free dot damage. And it appears that a friendly bombed the target. So now he has 2 fires. Not 1, but 2. And he can't stop it. So if we can get probably 1 to 2 more salvos on him, he's going to be dead. And I possibly need to leave. Oh no, here comes some shots. Don't touch me. Oh, we get a 3rd fire. He's definitely going to die, and I don't want to die to his salvo. And we get fairly lucky with that shot. Just a slight bit to his left, my right. And maybe it enters the citadel of the ship. Now, let's assess the situation. The enemy is clearly capturing B, and it's clearly a destroyer. Why is it a destroyer? Because we can't see him. There is nobody on our team that can answer the destroyer. They're both dead. So we need to get that destroyer dead. He needs to die quickly. There's also an enemy New Orleans that is very low, and it's not unfair to pick on him, but it's the right thing to do. It's, you know, he knows it. Everyone knows it. I'm the lone target. And look at what we see. We see an enemy Leningrad. Thankfully, it's in Leningrad. Leningrad and all the Soviet destroyers, they really act like just a superficial destroyer. They're really just a light cruiser in disguise. So they're easier to spot, easier to hit, easier to just harass, take them down. And I really want to do that. So my concealment is about equal, maybe a little bit worse than his, but it's fairly similar. And I'm just trying to get a good gauge. Oh, he's sitting in his smoke. Well, that's a mistake. So we fired directly at him. It seems that someone else fired him, but they didn't do quite as much damage as I did. And another salvo like that, he's dead. He should be moving. He should be... No, he doesn't move. Okay, well, that's good for us. And I believe that was either it was a Soviet or an American radar system. Enemy Shors is potentially rounding the island, and I'm going to blind send. Blind send on him. He has no idea that I'm doing this. So I use both on my starboard side, and I'm going to probably run into the island. It's worth it. I have great concealment. There's no enemy destroyers. The enemy aircraft carrier is too busy dealing with friendly aircraft carriers or whatever. And it looks like the enemy Shores is still moving back. We lose the friendly New Orleans. That's not good. An enemy Ibuki is out in the open, full life. I probably should not have fired. Honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, I am backing up. I have a max speed of, 8 knots? We lose another one. Oh, no. This is not looking good. It would be really nice if we didn't lose this game. And I have to limit the number of enemies that can engage me, maximize the number of damage I can do. Enemy New Orleans that was very low shows up, but he's outside of my range. Otherwise, I would fire on him. So, my lasting shot, enemy Ibuki takes a big citadel from one of the friendly battleships, and we're going to try and see if I can get a fire. Yes, a fire. Good, good. The enemy Schurz is still alive, moving back. And the friendly cruiser that did go into B is pulling back. There's no reason for him to be there anymore. And, oh, the Ibuki dies. Okay, he died to torpedoes. Good, good. It's still a really close game. Anyone can win this game. All we have to do is play it as clean as possible. Use the islands to our advantage. Try and pick on the target that's low. Enemy Schwartz, he is showing a lot of side. A lot of side. And he's sort of looking this way. He's firing on the battleship behind me. 100%. I fire my HE and I switch to AP. Thinking that he's not really someone who is angling as well as he could. Maybe I could get lucky. But, of course, he answers it by turning back, straight back, the enemy aircraft carrier. And I think the aircraft carrier is a Tier 9. A Tier 9 is not easy for me or the Tier 7 battleship to shoot down. So I tried to make sure that I'm assisting him. I'm aware that there is a possibility that the torpedoes will be dropped on me, and they are. So a hard to port, trying to turn. We avoid one set. We will not avoid this set. Thankfully, most of the bombs miss, and we got lucky. We got very lucky. I was not set. There wasn't a flood that was caused by the torpedoes, but I still wanted to put all that stuff out because it was significant. I think I lost my propulsion, and I was on fire, at least one fire. Enemy Amagi is moving into the area, and he's looking to his west. Well, not my east, but he's looking over to my friendlies that are moving into B point, and they're probably not going to be successful. And I'm going to take full advantage of this, and I do want to engage that enemy New Orleans if nobody decides to do it. It does look like someone on my team is indeed engaging the New Orleans, and that's great. And we're going to try and set another fire on him. We do 3,000, and friendly gets another, not a citadel, but chip damage with AP. Someone has decided to fire on me. I believe that's the Schwartz. And I do a quick check. Enemy Amagi is going to die to not my fire. He died to a friendly cruiser's fire, and yeah, kill that guy. Definitely kill that guy, and they do. That's how we get to work on it. Call out the Gneisenau now. Team's doing a good job of focusing down the target. I do have my torpedoes as well, and wait a minute. Why did you not do that, Notser? There is a threat of torpedoes, obviously, and why did I hold on my torpedoes? The only reason I would hold on my torpedoes is if I felt like I was gonna, I felt like I was gonna hit the turrets. Okay, I didn't want to risk the turrets. It wasn't worth it. And, oh, are we going to be able to avoid these torpedoes? I do hard to starboard. I switched to AP because the Gneisenau is showing, and nope, we can't fit quite in. I do have my damage control. I'm going to hold on to it until the second torpedo set is done. I am taking flood damage, and the AP does pretty good damage to the enemy Gneisenau. It's a 1 versus 2, and, oh, he sent out torpedoes at me. Torpedoes everywhere. But we get pretty lucky. We only took 1 torpedo. It caused a flood. I confirmed, and of course, there are dive bombers incoming. Just as I put it out, I'm going to take dive bomber damage. There's nothing I could really do about it. And now that the turrets is turned back away from the enemy Gneisenau, I can send my torpedoes. Granted, I do send poorly, but I still have 1 set on my starboard side available. And the Schwartz is still being one of those who is picking on me, and I think the dive bomber also went... No, I think the dive bombers changed direction and went after the friendly battleship that is harassing the aircraft carrier, and we are almost at the right angle to do AP. I should be using hydroacoustic, because the Gneisenau has torpedoes, and those torpedoes are going to hit him. He's going to die to it. And we just switched to the enemy Schwartz. We have AP loaded because we wanted a broadside on the enemy Gneisenau, and yes, here come torpedoes. And thankfully I get 5 citadels just before I die to, I believe, yes, the shores. The shores killed me. That was an intense little moment. I think my team traded what? We got 4 kills for 2? Maybe 5 kills for 2? That's pretty good. And that Terrapins did a great job. Great job by my team focusing down, knowing who we need to go after, and we really don't need to capture the base, although we should capture the bases. Guys, we should capture the base. It's 3 minutes left. If we take out the enemy aircraft carrier, it doesn't matter. But we should make sure we have the bases captured. At least deny them a capture tick. It would be nice, you know. Just saying. Just saying. And I was doing this during a Corgi event. The Corgi event was basically, if you get a kill on me, you get rewarded some dragon flags. And the dragon flags are, of course, sought after. Everyone loves the dragon flags. Why wouldn't you love dragon flags? They are great for leveling commanders. I really enjoy World of Warships mechanics behind the free-to-play aspects. Yeah, sure, it's kind of grindy, but it's not too bad. There are way worse free-to-play games. The commander skills make sense, and let's see if the Gneisen can get this guy. The dispersion's just not on his side. That's the problem with the Gneisen now. It feels great. It's the same... It's not a battle cruiser per se. It feels agile. But the guns, you only have 6 guns. You could get unlucky. You could get 4 of the 6 that will just disperse anywhere but on the ship. And my team is doing exactly what they need to do. Capture both bases and then worry about killing the aircraft carrier. The aircraft carrier probably just going to sit behind that island and force my teammates to move into position in order to take it out. But let's talk about the Atago. Now, the Atago, it is an original, or almost original. There used to be the Kitakami, of course. It is, for all intents and purposes, a original premium ship. It was the first Japanese premium ship that you could purchase sitting in the tech tree. And it's still a really good ship. It's been buffed, granted. It's a solid pick for anyone that has any interest whatsoever, even today, in cruisers and Japanese. And I always say, oh, what's your favorite cruiser line? What's your favorite? It's the Japanese cruiser line. They really feel like the same sort of ship, just improving as you go from tier 5 on. You get really comfortable with the HE, the AP. Yeah, the turrets traverse pretty slow. Yeah, the 8A protection is pretty mediocre. But that's not really important right now. There's not a lot of aircraft carriers that want to do it. You saw the aircraft carrier was going after me, but I could maneuver pretty well. And that's really all you could really hope for. And friendlies are able to take out the enemy aircraft carrier. And that game started out pretty okay, but it ended up being a really fun ending. We got double strike, devastating strike. I believe that's arsonist, Confederate, or it's something related to first fire. 3 kills, 2,292 base XP. A lot of the remaining people on my team carried the game. The Terrapins, the Arpeggio, Takao, great job. Most of my damage was main battery, but we did get a little bit of fire and torpedo damage. It's always nice to make use of torpedoes, right, Notser? Yeah, I know. I need to do it more often. I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.